Jananīṃ Saradam Devīṃ Rāmakriṣṇam Jagadguru Ādapatve Tvarpranamāpi Mūrtī Namastri Yatirājāya Vivekanandasuraye Satchit Sukasarvāya Swami Tāpahāya. Good afternoon. Today we are very honored, privileged and blessed to have amongst us Swami Atmapriyanandaji Maharaj, VC, Vivekananda University, Beliaghata, the headquarters of Ramakrishna Modern Mission. A quick profile of Swami Atmapriyanandaji Maharaj. He is the Vice Chancellor of Ramakrishna Mission, Vivekananda University since 2005. Before becoming a monk, Swami Atmapriyanandaji completed his doctoral program leading to PhD degree from the Department of Theoretical Physics, University of Madras, Chennai, Tamil Nadu, India in 1975. Inspired by the ideal of renunciation, selfless service, as taught by Sri Ramakrishna, Sri Sarada Devi, and Swami Vivekananda, and the direct disciples of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. He joined as a brahmachari, spiritual trainee in 1978 at Ramakrishna Mission Sarada Peetha, Beliaghata, the headquarters of the worldwide organization Ramakrishna Math and Ramakrishna Mission. His presence has definitely graced us, and we are in this, our entire program, according to us, will be solemnized by his very noble and gracious presence. I would now request Maharaj to deliver his lecture. Thank you. Before that, one thing, I think. I will request our principal sir to present the welcome Swami Devotees. Thank you, sir.
I was just asking the organizers. How long should I speak? As usual, courtesy demands that you don't tell the speaker, in India at least, please sir, go on as long as you like. Even if you don't like him to go on. That's the way Indian courtesy goes. So they said, please sir, please go on. So I was remembering an interesting incident which happened in Bangkok. I was there to attend a conference of the Vice Chancellors. They call it Presidents of Universities in the USA. So a huge gathering all over the world with so many executives and presidents and chancellors have come. And the conference is inaugurated by the Chancellor of Oxford University. Is a very witty person, very scholarly person. He began by saying the following, with which I will begin. He said, I went to an international conference and asked the audience, how long should I speak? Then everybody said, sir, you are a great scholar, you come from all the way, and We want to learn so much from you. Please do go on as long as you can and as long as you like. But we leave after an hour. So that's a very bad thing to do, to happen to a speaker. So I will not allow that to happen. So I'll be looking at the faces of every one of you, how you react and how you, whether you smile or cry, whether you raise your eyebrows or feel uncomfortable. That's part of a teacher, the quality of a teacher. You look at the audience and then immediately you know how much they absorb, how much they like or dislike. So I will begin with a famous peace chant. They call it Shanti Mantra in Sanskrit. These Shanti Mantras have been discovered by our great rishis thousands of years ago, when the world is now crying for peace. We have everything in the world except peace. There is no internal peace and therefore there is no external peace. The whole world is panicking in peace. Supposedly the most advanced country in the world, the United States of America, with its boasted and vaunted technology and science, is panicking and they can't sleep in peace. Swami Atmapriyanandaji, one of our very illustrious presidents, was a very gifted orator, he traveled all over the world. Once he was heckled by the audience in USA, perhaps 1,000 of them were sitting there. You see, Swami, your country, you boast of so much of spirituality, so much of dirt and poverty and squalor and superstition. When we visited the country, we saw people were sleeping in the pavements. What kind of spirituality is this? He smiled and said, that's part of our glory, that people can sleep on the pavements. Then he said, how many people are present here? 1,000 people? Those of you who can sleep without sleeping pills, please put up your hands. Only half a dozen hands were put up. This is your glory. You can't sleep without pills. In our country, people can just sleep on the pavements because the mind is full of joy. Not that we glorify poverty. The downside is we glorify poverty unnecessarily. Not that we need to be poor, but no Indian will need a sleeping pill to sleep. The difficulty is we need pills to awaken us. When another great Swami, he was the president of the order, Swami Atmapriyanandaji, once very wittily asked the brahmacharis, what is the greatest God who is worshipped by all people in India? The Aradhya Devata, who all the Indians worship and admire and adore uniformly all over the country. Then somebody said Shiva, somebody said Vishnu, somebody said Durga, somebody said Kali and so on. He said, no, Kumbhakarna. Kumbhakarna is one adorable God. And the whole country is, you know the story of Kumbhakarna, he used to sleep 6 months in a year, that's the story, but he can't be awakened so easily. So Swamiji said our country is a sleeping Leviathan. That was the word Swamiji used. The sleeping Leviathan. Leviathan is a huge kind of a giant. There's so much of power and so much of energy, but unfortunately it is sleeping. So he said, India is awakening once more. Never is she going to sleep anymore, for the giant is awakening to its feet. So the prophecy that India is going to waken up, and the awakened India will receive its energy and power from the younger generation of people. All of you are sitting there. So he said, let's work hard, my brethren. This is no time for sleep. On our hard work depends the coming of the India of the future. She is there, ready, waiting. She is only sleeping. Arise and awake and see her seated on the eternal throne, rejuvenated, more glorious than she ever was, this motherland of ours. Hot tears he shed for the glory of our country, the past glory, the present degeneration, and the future possibilities. So this peace chant which I was mentioning, there are so many of them. Every passage in the Vedas is prefixed and suffixed by a peace chant. You begin with the peace chant, end with the peace chant. There's not Shanti mantras. And the simplest of them, which all of you have heard so many times, with which I will begin, it occurs in the Upanishad called the Katha Upanishad. You know, Katha Upanishad was a favorite Upanishad of Swami Vivekananda. Upanishad is called Vedanta, which occurs at the end of the Veda. Anta means end, Veda is the spiritual knowledge. Or it could also mean, as one modern philosopher scholar put it, is the end of knowledge. Veda means to know. Where knowledge ends, wisdom begins. And unless knowledge can mature into wisdom, mere knowledge is very destructive. Bertrand Russell once famously said, if man increases in knowledge, unless man increases in wisdom, as much as in knowledge, mere increase in knowledge will only result in increase of sorrow. We are not growing in wisdom, but we are growing in mere knowledge, particularly scientific, material knowledge, without discovering our own souls. As Carl Jung, the famous psychologist who came after Freud, he said, what is the crisis of the modern man? Modern man is in search of his own soul. He has got everything but he has lost himself. That's why the Bhagavad Gita has a very beautiful statement, as a phrase. He tells, the Bhagavan tells Arjuna, apart from other things, be Atmavan. Atmavan is an extremely pregnant statement. It's called Matu Pratyaya in Sanskrit, possessing something. A Gunavan is something who possesses some gunas, qualities. A Dhanavan is a person who possesses some dhana, wealth. So Atmavan is a person, he possesses himself. So everybody possesses himself and herself, but no. We don't possess our own selves. We invest ourselves everywhere else, and then we are blindly going ahead, having lost our own selves. As Christ also said in the Bible, what if you gain the whole universe, but you have lost yourself? What of it? What is the use of it? So this Shanti mantra, as you know, now it's become very famous, Shanti, 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 three Shantis. That has been very famous thanks to other causes, not religion. Three kinds of Shanti is mentioned. Why? The statement which is made by the great Acharyas, an explanation of this, is there are three kinds of Ashanti, three kinds of sorrow, three kinds of distress, which have to be countered by three kinds of Shanti. Swami Vivekananda said, our ancients were great generalizers. Generalization and unification is the method of science. I will come to that in the course of my talk. Whole of development of science and technology is through generalization and unification. You take an idea and then try to find out whether there is a common pattern within this. All of you know the periodic table of elements. The periodic table was a result of how the various elements could be classified scientifically and the kind of uniform pattern can be found out. When we studied the periodic table, we were very amused in the schools and the colleges. Every element in the periodic table, most of you may remember this, every element in the periodic table interacts with other elements in such a way as to attain the inert gas configuration nearest to it in the periodic table. Remember that? It's a very interesting statement. It was highly philosophical. See, most of our teaching is so mechanical that the students are not exposed to the deep philosophical implication of these statements. What is the philosophical implication? Why is it that the element has to behave as if to attain the inert gas configuration. There's a famous a jocular scientific thesis by Albert Einstein. Einstein is supposed to have brought up an interesting idea called a law called the law of cosmic laziness. Every particle in the universe wants to be lazy. Why? When you are lazy, then your energy is conserved and you will not try to be actively interacting with anything else. Those of you who have been exposed to the basic sciences, all of you are, will know that the stable state of a system is when it is in the lowest energy state. So you differentiate this one and then say the first differential should be 0, second differential should be negative, all of you know this. So that means it is the lowest state, the minimum state of energy, so that it doesn't have energy to spend. And the boys and girls will know, the first week of every month you are full of energy because your pocket is full. So we run around and watch movies and then go to restaurants, and the second week you are relatively calm. The third week you are not very active. The fourth week you are absolutely still because your pocket is empty. So when your pocket is empty and energy level is low, then you can't spend much and therefore you become slightly lazy. Once again, the first week of those of you who receive fellowships and receive pocket money from home, so they know this. So when the energy level is low, lowest energy state, you are the most stable state. So every particle in the universe wants to be lazy. That's what Einstein said. There's a universal law of cosmic laziness, he said. So every particle wants to interact in such a way as to attain a configuration nearest to the inert gas configuration nearest to it. And inert gas, as you know, is inert and does not interact with anything else. So the human nature is that you don't want to interact. You want to be stay put. You want to be calm. You want to be still. You want to be inward. That's your nature, fundamental nature. That's called Atmavan. You possess yourself and you are so content with yourself. Most of us suffer because we are not content with ourselves. We are so discontented, we want to run around, we want to see something else, and we don't feel that we should be content with ourselves. And if there is so much of peace outside, we feel very unhappy. So everything is so still. Then you feel, oh, what should I do now? Nothing. Enjoy this peace. Those of you who have come to Beliaghata, most of you must have gone there. If you go there in the evenings, around 7:30, and then you enter the temple, it's so calm, so peaceful. People get frightened. One of my friends came to me long ago. That said, they went to Beliaghata, it was 7:30, and he felt so terribly frightening. Nobody is anywhere. Some people are meditating and the Ganges is flowing. And there's so much of stillness, he got frightened. After a couple of days, he becomes so restless. He said, I will just go out for some time and come back. Where will he go? I don't know, I'll find out. Then after a couple of hours, he came back. So where did he go? I didn't go anywhere. I went to the Howrah station. But huge staircase. I stood there, hundreds of people coming down and hundreds of people commuting, going up and shouting. I felt so relieved. The problem is, peace is there everywhere, but we can't accept peace. We want some kind of attention, some kind of, like the politicians for example, if everything is going peacefully, they feel very unhappy about it. There's no issue at all. What do? We should have an issue by which we will shout. So somebody was having a huge procession and people shouting something. I asked them, I don't know what is the issue. Let me shout, let me find out the issue later. So the human mind can't bear stillness and peace. So I'm particularly telling these young people, if you can develop the capacity to be peaceful, then you will find that the different dimension develops within you. And you are systematically taught by a science, those who are you from the management, please pardon me, called the management science, which will tell you, you should always be restlessly active. That is the way life is. You can see the management people, if you go around and show off, say something, and pontificate on things which you know very little about. You go on talking about many things without knowing anything of any of these. But you should be active and you should show off. If you are calm and peaceful, the management people will say, oh, he is not peaceful. But management is changing rapidly. In India, we don't understand that. Even some years ago, there was a book on management called From Good to Great. I don't know whether some of you must have seen that. The different levels of leaders, L1, L2, L3, L4, the level 1, level 2 leadership. Then now recently they have said the L5 leadership they have found out. And they will go on still. Now they say a leader who is calm, who is happy, who is peaceful, who is very humble, at the same time who has an indomitable will to do something, he is the leader which is most accepted, most successful. Earlier on we used to talk about L3, L4 leaders. We'll have a strategy, we'll have a vision, we'll have a mission, and throw something and you'll be powerful and you'll network with everybody. Now the present thing is going on. You should network, you should shout, you should throw. You don't have to throw, you be calm. And you will attract people by your peace. Sri Ramakrishna said, if the flower blossoms, the bees will come of their own. Have you ever thought of a flower when it blossoms and says, and advertises a person on Facebook, I have now a flower, please come to bees. You don't have to advertise anyway. The attraction of your fragrance and the honey which you have, hundreds of people will be attracted towards. That is the basic fundamental Indian culture, which now we are trying to replace by artificial culture, which also will fade away. Do not think that by being calm and collective and peaceful, you are losing something. We were trained at home, no, we should be very active, we should shout and go around. Unfortunately, we do not understand the power of quiet and power of peacefulness. So in India, our ancients, as I said, classified, generalized everything into groups. Can you find out a pattern? They even asked, how many kinds of sorrow does a person have? All of you understand what is sorrow. কত রকমের দুঃখ আছে জগতে কি দুঃখে আছো তো হ্যাঁ দুঃখে আছি দুঃখ আছে nobody can say I'm without sorrow, of course. Everybody has some kind of a sorrow. Can you tell me how many kinds of sorrows are there in the world? কত রকম দুঃখ আছে? Then the answer is, how many kinds of, thousands of varieties of sorrow I have. From morning till night I have some kind of a sorrow or the other. Pete vetha, paye vetha, dante vetha, mone vetha. How many kinds of sorrow, how many kinds of pain I go through? But our ancients said no. Generalize, unify. They classified the whole gamut of sorrow into three categories, three classes. They said one kind of sorrow, which is very obvious to all of us, comes from your own body and mind. Your body is full of pain. The back pain and the stomach pain and the neck pain. That's why they said that fellow is a pain in the neck. That means he is a very troublesome person. So you have all kinds of pains all over the body. Now you will not know. When you grow up slowly, your body gives you a lot of pain. Then your mind also gives you so much pain. And then people become depressed and people become depressed for no reason. There's nothing to be depressed about. Oh, that fellow doesn't like me. Let him not like me. What is that to me? He should be depressed, not me. You know, have you read the series Dennis the Menace? This is a small child, very mischievous fellow. Will always be doing some mischief with the other. There's a joke. There's some Joe, the fat fellow, you say that, with a big nose. This Dennis will be always after him. Then once Dennis was supposed to be put to sleep. Then Joe was trying to pacify him with all the sleep, the lullabies and all that. After a lot of effort, Dennis would not sleep so easily. All the time restless and mischievous. Trying to put him to sleep, this fellow dozed off. Then he said, I was supposed to sleep, not you. You wake up, wake up. Then somebody doesn't like you, he should be depressed. Why should I be depressed? Remember, the cause of depression is in your own mind. If I am peaceful with myself, if I like myself, if I love my own self, then there is nothing for me to worry about. So this is a very important idea to which I will come. So this is one kind of sorrow. Sorrow of the body, sorrow of the mind. And the mind throws up so many varieties of sorrow. And these varieties of sorrow the mind is throwing up always agitates us at every point. There is one thing. Coming from the mind and the body, this is called Adhyatmika Dukkha. Adhyatmika means relating to the mind, relating to the body. Now, there is another kind of dukkha, sorrow, over which you have no control. Suddenly there is an earthquake. Suddenly there are floods. There are so many kinds of natural calamities which give so much of trouble and so much of sorrow. But Adi Daivika means relating to natural forces over which I have no control. The second kind of sorrow. The third kind of sorrow relates to beings outside. They could be human beings, there is subhuman beings. And the most common example of this kind of sorrow from beings is mosquitoes. If you have been in Beliaghata, you will know. And it's so calm and peaceful. You sit in the temple and try to meditate. One mosquito is coming, and the mosquito will sit there. And mosquitoes are very clever fellows. I don't know whether you watch mosquitoes. I spent a lot of time doing these things and these unnecessary things and became a monk. Because life is so fascinating. The life of a mosquito, if you just observe this. So sometimes my parents used to say, "Hey, you are wasting time watching mosquitoes." Mosquitoes are ants. I don't know whether you watch ants going around. It's such a fascinating study, how the pattern they form. And the small drop of water they put there, immediately there's a communication, they will turn back. And immediately the whole troop goes back and takes a different route. I have tried this all. Then I used to wonder in the extraordinary power of God or whoever made that. And then also, oh Lord, you have given so much of intelligence to this little fellow. And how much intelligence you have given to all human beings. And how the human beings are using this intelligence to kill others, to destroy others, to hate others. What a tragedy. These mosquitoes, as you know, they mainly live on blood. When mosquito comes and bites me, I always tell the wife, so much God has given me so much of blood. One small drop, you take it. I don't mind. But don't give me malaria. That is the deal. After all, poor fellow, he is thriving on that. One thing I saw, I think, that if I had a camera at that time, that photograph would be the bestseller in the world. One mosquito was sitting, and we always use mosquito nets in Beliaghata because we are terribly afraid of mosquito bites. So I had a mosquito net. The problem with the mosquito net is, if a mosquito somehow enters there, it cannot go out. So by mistake, if a mosquito enters, you are all night and alone. If it did not have a net, at least it would go away. So somehow it trunk is full. I was just watching. I had a bed speak and I was watching what the fellow is doing there. Then I said, all of you take, let me see. Then it becomes so fat, because so much of it, then it can't even move properly. Then I didn't want to kill it. After all, you see, God has given it life, I have no right to take it away. If I wanted, I would have removed it, but I can't kill it. It's a bad thing to do. If I had given that mosquito life, I have the right to take it away. You have no right to take away life which you have not given. So this mosquito was slowly flying to the corner, And there's another small mosquito, perhaps it's son or daughter, maybe, who knows. The family, one of the family members, it is very obvious. So mosquito also has a family, and they have a society, and they have elect presidents and secretaries, they have conferences, how to attack man. Have you seen the famous Hitchcock film, The Birds? So the younger generation must not have seen that. So how the birds became so furious and attacked man. It's a tremendous. So you know, these mosquitoes can be, this virus, they have annual conferences, biannual conferences. The moment there's a medical conference somewhere, immediately there's a virus conference, and the agenda will be, these fellows are now discussing, and then let us throw a new virus. The Calcutta virus. No doctor is able to find out what is the cause of that virus. They simply call it Calcutta fever. Why did that fever come? I don't, we have now found out. What is the reason? It's a fever of unknown origin. You don't need to study MBBS for that. To say there is an unknown origin, I can also say that. You see, there's a particular medical term is also there. Fever of unknown origin. So immediately the virus also has a meeting and then say, let us now come back, throw a new virus. See, nature is very interesting. You can't so easily conquer nature. Now this mosquito is an incident I actually saw. The mosquito is coming like this, sitting at the corner, and there's another mosquito, small, very slim, small, and has been starving for quite some time. The mother mosquito also said, the Swami is here, I'll bring good blood for you. This mosquito was also will live on. Later on they will become brahmacharis and Swamis or Ramakrishna. I don't know, we also must have been mosquitoes also earlier, who knows? The Hindu religion says they have gone through so many kinds of births. You know, Swami Vivekananda's life, there was a beautiful incident. He was in Dakshineshwar and trying to meditate. Girish Chandra Ghosh, another disciple, Bohemian disciple of Ramakrishna, was also there. He was trying to meditate, but he could not meditate. There were so many mosquitoes. Suddenly he turned around and saw Narayan, Swami Vivekananda was meditating. And it was so hot, it was summer. But Swamiji was covered with a black blanket. He said, why is it he is covering it with black blanket? Then he found there were mosquitoes all over with not the small spot which was not covered by mosquitoes. Hundreds of thousands of them, and Swamiji was a deep samadhi. I was one of those mosquitoes. I always feel I must have been there, one of those mosquitoes. Drinking a small amount of Swamiji's blood, I became a monk instead. So this fellow, I actually saw, was coming there, and another mosquito was sitting in the outside, and the mother mosquito put its mouth out, and this child was putting the mouth until, like a syringe, it was drawing the entire blood from the mother. I was just watching, and slowly this mosquito gave all the blood to the younger one, again came back to bite me. You can't imagine, really, you can't imagine the kind of thrill and the feeling which I had. With tears I said, oh Lord, what a wonderful love we've given to the small mosquito. If human beings had so much of love for their fellow beings, the world would have been far better. How much of intelligence, and not only love, intelligence, how much of intelligence and how much of love and how much of feeling you have put into the small little creature to be able to draw blood from me and then transfer to the young one. Come back. Then I told you, drink as much as possible today. If I had a photograph of that. So why I am telling you this is this, that life itself is so strange. Try to observe life. People of science and technology, the unfortunate thing is, we completely cut ourselves away from life. Life science. Very few of us know anything about our own body, how the body is functioning. So this is called the Adi Bhautika Dukkha. The Dukkha which comes from beings, mosquitoes, flies, ants, small rats. Rats are terrible fellows. Those of you in the kitchen, they know how the rats are everywhere. There is a story of some years ago I read. In a village in Bengal, in Midnapur somewhere, Suddenly so many snails started moving into the village. Thousands of them started invading the village and snails are everywhere. In the bathroom, in the kitchen, and the bedroom, everywhere there are snails. They had to vacate the village actually. So it's called Adi Bhautika Dukkha. Adi Daimika, Adi Bhautika, Adhyatmika. You can't have any other type of dukkha, you find out. Whether there could be any other type of dukkha. All the dukkha which you have can be classified in any of these three. Adi Bhautika, Adhyatmika, or Adi Daimika. So they said, let us have Shanti 3 times. Just to play the 3 kinds of Ashanti may be eliminated. That's why Shanti is chanted 3 times. So this is a very important mantra which occurs in the Kathopanishad, as I said, which is recited by the Guru and the disciple, the teacher and the student together, so that they will be able to cultivate knowledge. All of you, the students and the teachers, you have come together in a joint enterprise. What is an education institution? An educational institution is a combination of the teacher and the student. The buildings, the infrastructure, they are all secondary. You can sit under the tree and receive education. Of course, you need some kind of infrastructure, but that is not important. That is not as important as the quality of the students and the teachers. So we are now putting the cart before the horse. Huge halls and wonderful buildings being built. But the quality of men and women is going down and down. So the teacher and the student sit together and then sign a covenant, a kind of a contract. A memorandum of understanding. Now you call it MOU. You have a MOU. What is that? We sit together and pray. May the Supreme Being give us right understanding, give us knowledge and wisdom, and may the Lord protect us by revealing to us the true nature of knowledge. The nature of knowledge should be revealed. Unless you know the theory and the true nature of knowledge, knowledge will not sustain you. Now we talk about sustainability everywhere. Sustainable development, sustainable agriculture. Knowledge sustains you through revealing to you the true nature of knowledge. You know what is the Indian word for sustainability? I was thinking about it. Sustain is to continue, to remain stay put, to not get disturbed, to hold together. Holding together, hold in the Sanskrit language, hold comes from the dhatu dh. Dharitri is the name of earth. What is Dharitri? That which holds you. I am sitting here, you are sitting there, or somebody is standing there. This earth is holding you. How is the earth holding you? Because you are pressing the earth, and the earth is reacting to you, and therefore you are there. When you walk, it is friction which helps you. Friction is a wasteful energy, as you know, but without friction you can't walk. So everything in the universe is useful, and the earth is holding you, because Dharitri. That which holds, that which is that which sustains. Now, from the Dh Dhatu comes a beautiful word in Indian heritage, which every one of you knows. Yes? Anybody can guess? Dharma. Dharma comes from Dh Dhatu. Dh means to hold. Dharma is not religion. Dharma is that principle which holds the society together. How is the society held together? Because of the principle of dharma. What is the principle? That has been discussed in so many ways. It has been unfortunately translated as religion because we don't have any other word in English. There is no word in English for dharma. Dharma means religious feeling, dharma means emotion, dharma means righteousness, dharma means good conduct, dharma means hundreds of things. And any principle which is holding society together, which is holding families together, which is holding institutions together, which is holding the entire group of human beings and nature together is called the dharma, and the principle of dharma. So therefore, I have translated the dharma as a principle of sustainability. So, principle of sustainability what sustains you. Unless you are sustained, you can't do anything. So, every day you have to come to the class, every day you have to pay for the exam, and every day you have to perform better and better, for which you should be sustained. You will be sustained by food, you will be sustained by drink, you will be sustained by nutrition, you will be sustained by study, you will be sustained by calmness. You may be sustained by meditation, you may be sustained by religion, you may be sustained by prayer. You feel terribly depressed, tomorrow is an exam, and you feel unhappy, I can't take the exam. Then you go to God and say, oh God, please help me. Suddenly a wave of enthusiasm comes to you. Whether it comes from God, from anywhere, you don't know whatever. But enthusiasm comes to you, then the principle which sustains you. You have to be sustained by something. People are sustained by love. Some people are sustained by affection. People are sustained by nourishment. People are sustained by protection. You know my parents are there to protect me. And therefore, any danger comes to you, you know my parents are there, my mother and father, they will be able to protect me. That feeling sustains you. Suppose you are abroad somewhere, alone, fighting. Suddenly you feel deeply upset and depressed about something. And you remember, my old mother is there. No, she will not let me down. And she has been with me all the time. She has been a great force which is protecting me. And you feel deeply elevated, sustains you. That happened to Mahatmananda's life. Those who have read Mahatmananda, the famous book, My Experiments with the Truth, he says, he promised his mother that he will live a pure life, he will always stick to truth. That sustained him when he was in England. Because that thought, we have been told by the people, wiser people, the older people, Maya Ashru Joltacha Tumar Rakha Kavach. So similarly, the tear of your mother is the Rakha, is the talisman which protects you. Rakha Kavach Parito. Remember, how would your mother react when if she listens, if she hears that my son, my daughter has done this? Chichi, Amma Chilla, and with tears you will feel, aha. So remember that my mother will shed a tear. That will immediately protect you from doing anything which is not correct. So they say these are certain values which protect you, which sustains you. The principle of sustainability is called the principle of dharma. So you pray, the teacher and the student come together and pray. The Supreme Being should protect me. How? By revealing to me the true nature of knowledge. That is the theory. Now, theory alone is not enough. You know the true nature of knowledge, you write papers about everything. But what is the practical utility? I don't know what is the practical utility, but I keep on writing. Pure theoretical knowledge without practical application is not useful. So you need technology. Science, pure science, by itself is great and glorious. But unless it is transformed with technology and engineering for the good of humanity, not the technology which kills man, not the technology which destroys human beings, but a technology which is for welfare of humanity. Now they call it development. It is useful for development, sustainable development. This is the slogan everywhere. So the secret of sustainable development through knowledge, that also should be revealed to you. This is being discussed in the present era so much. Now we say we are also the knowledge society. We had an industrial revolution, we had an agricultural revolution. Now we are going to witness a knowledge revolution. We are going into a knowledge society. What is the knowledge society? A knowledge society in which application of knowledge for sustainable development of all sections of society can be implemented on the ground, and for which you need the grace of God, the grace of the Supreme Being to bless you.